Come to DSW for the shoes, stay for the fun. Because let's be honest, if shoe shopping isn't fun, are you even doing it right? So go ahead, try something new. Try something different. Good different. Try something that feels like you. You know, the real you. And then definitely brag about it later. Because at DSW, you've got unlimited freedom to play. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW, let us surprise you.
Looking for these better days.
It is Monday, October 13th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. The Kansas City Chiefs defeat the Lions on Sunday Night Football. The Trench Report goes 4-0 straight up. 2-2 against the spread, though, with one more game coming up here tonight, part of a Monday Night Football doubleheader. And the Seattle Mariners take game one of the American League Championship Series on the road, beating the Blue Jays last night. Mackenzie Rivers is with me here on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. Mac, let's just get the obvious out of the way, and that is an undefeated day for the Trench Report. The Week 6 Trench Report came out last week, and we said as the experiment goes on, we are going to be taking the top 5 biggest mismatches every single week, and those would be our plays for the week in the Circa Millions contest. We went 4-1 last week, straight up in ATS, but more importantly for the Circa Millions contest, 4-1 ATS. Yesterday, 4-0, undefeated straight up. So if you just, moneyline parlay or whatever you do with the money lines, congratulations, you cashed them. But only 2-2 ATS. The 4 straight up wins were by the Denver Broncos, the Los Angeles Rams, the New England Patriots, and the Green Bay Packers. And the 2 teams that did not cover, the Denver Broncos and the Green Bay Packers. The Packers made me nervous just because, honestly, it was a 14-point spread. I don't want to lay 14 in the NFL.
I feel like the Trench Report has to pick up a 14-point spread. If there's going to be that big of a difference in the team quality overall.
Of course. It was so obvious. But, I don't want to bet a 14-point spread, but I did it because it was the Trench Report, and this is part of the experiment, so I picked it in the Circa Millions contest. I would never pick a 14-point spread in the NFL. But anyway, and then the Denver Broncos not covering. How? How did the Denver Broncos – Mackenzie, you want to talk about the Trench Report? The Denver Broncos sacked Justin Fields 9 times in that game. The Denver Broncos held the Jets – to, what was it? Breece Hall, 59 rushing yards on 22 carries. That's a 2.7 yards per carry for Breece Hall, the RB1 of the New York Jets. 9 sacks. This game, the Broncos out-yarded the Jets 246-82. 4.3 yards per play for the Broncos to 1.4 for the Jets. How in the world did Denver not cover this number?
You can't say it was their defense. Bo Nix, big question mark. I mean, he was coming into this week one of the lowest rated QBR quarterbacks. He goes against a Jets defense that hasn't done much of anything, that Baker Mayfield lit up, that Aaron Rodgers lit up. And he had a bad game. 30 attempts, only 174 yards. Rushing wasn't much better. Justin Fields' career is over, though. This is the game that ended Justin Fields' career. This is how I'll remember getting up early watching this game. 9 completions, 9 sacks. I've never seen a team win the yards per play by 3 yards and not even be over 5. That's very tough to do. It just shows you how little they were scared of Justin Fields running the ball, throwing the ball. They had him wrapped up. Did you think when it was 4th and 8, 62-yard field goal, your kicker's career high is 58. Do you go for a 20% chance to make the field goal with a minute left, or do you go for 4th and 8 with a guy that's literally averaging negative yards every time he drops back?
Well, Mackenzie, I'm glad you brought this up because this is where Aaron Glenn completely fails as a head coach. And the Jets are just an abomination of an organization, and coaching is just not there. How many times do we talk about on this pod, just in other pods, whenever we talk, 4th down decisions are not isolated to 4th downs. Mm-hmm. It also matters what you do on 3rd down, okay? The New York Jets were in a position on 3rd down, as you mentioned, to kick a 62-yard field goal, okay? what you could have and should have done is run the football on third down, gain a couple of yards, and then attempt maybe a 57-yard field goal, 58-yard field goal, maybe a 60-yard field goal, whatever it is. The one thing that you could not do is not gain any yards, and that's what happened when Justin Fields dropped back and threw an incomplete pass, and then it's 4th and 8. You're not going to kick the field goal from there, so you're forced to then have Justin Fields go for it where he gets sacked for a 12-yard loss. But if the Jets were smart, if they had a head coach that had coaching experience and not just, calling defensive schemes, they would have realized, hey, we're in position to win this football game. Let's just run the ball, right? And let's gain a couple of yards, and let's send our kicker out there to go win a football game. But nope, they didn't do it.
It's funny because I just was talking to a friend about how I would have ran it twice on 3rd and 8. Yet I disagree with you. I disagree with you that it was so obvious that it was a coaching malpractice. The play that they ran, a 6-yard out, was a fine play. He had an opportunity to get a first down, but more importantly, he had an opportunity to gain a couple yards. And getting a first down there ends the game. You win the game. You kick a 50-yarder, 40-yarder. Kicking a 58-yarder doesn't necessarily end the game. You're going to be up 1 point with 45 seconds left. So if I'm calling Madden, that's what I do. But I don't mind throwing for it if you think you have a better chance of gaining 6 yards. I wouldn't go. I mean, he hasn't dropped back and had a successful pass all game. I wouldn't try for a first down. But I thought getting a couple yards on a quick pass like that made sense. It was a second late. And on a 2-second route, it was a second late. What a terrible performance by Justin Fields.
Well, but you just
but I wouldn't override my offensive coordinator if he showed me that play with 3rd and 8 in that position.
The reason why it was a bad call is because of the guy you just mentioned. It's because it's Justin Fields. If I had any other quarterback, I'm okay with calling that play.
Yeah. Got to know your personnel.
You got to know your personnel, and you mentioned it. Justin Fields had not been able to complete a successful pass all game. Now, in the biggest moment, he threw 9 of 17 for 45 yards.
The real travesty of a call was it was 3rd and 8, right? So that means they gained 2 yards on 1st and 2nd down. They gained like 7 yards or 12 yards on 2nd down because they'd given up a sack on 1st down.
Yeah.
Like I would not have given them an opportunity to sack my quarterback when I have 3 downs to get 10 yards or 7 yards and kick a field goal.
It's what a disaster. What a disaster. I don't know when they're going to pick up a win. But like you,
this was a great chance, man. They are staring down the barrel here.
But like you just said, Justin Fields' career is over. There's no way that Aaron Glenn can trot him out there next week against the Panthers as the starting quarterback. You just can't. And I'm not saying and okay, so whatever. You run Tyrod Taylor out there and you see what happens. Or, you go out there and you trade a 6th or 7th round pick for a Jameis Winston or somebody that is only going to be a rental for this year. But probably you don't even need to do that. You should just lose out and just draft and just draft the but you know.
I mean, I honestly rather play like Trey Lance than Jameis Winston.
Okay,
like your season is not going anywhere. I would move on from Justin Fields, but I don't know if they're going to. I feel like they're just gonna get the number 1 draft pick and start over.
You know what the problem is?
With a coach or a new coach.
You know what the problem is? Is that they're going to get the number 1 draft pick and they're going to screw that up because they're going to wind up taking some
Archie Manning.
Not Archie. He's not going. He's going to stay at college. But they're going to wind up taking like Lenore Sellers and like making a huge mistake in the NFL draft. And it's going to be like, it's just I don't trust the organization to make sound decisions. And
longest playoff drought in sports.
Yep. And I don't think anybody can trust the organization to make sound decisions. But I do think, much like, I talked about this, last week in regards to this game. Remember, it was after the Jets-London game where Robert Saleh ultimately gets canned because
the 3 and 4 Jets.
Because Woody Johnson was embarrassed. And Woody Johnson, who was the former ambassador to the UK, had a lot of dignitaries and friends and associates at that game last year, and he was embarrassed. And so all hell came down on the New York Jets when they returned home. I think it could happen again this year. And the way that it's going to happen this year is he might march into, Aaron Glenn's office and just say, Justin Fields is no longer the quarterback of this team. That's what probably has to happen.
If they would have punted, if they would have just not thrown the ball, they would have had more success. It is embarrassing. Even though they covered 3-3 ATS for the worst team of all time. But I wouldn't be, for a meddling owner, this is exactly the time where you start to meddle.
Yep. So again, remember that is last year. That's what happened. Robert Saleh was fired after the embarrassment in London, and Woody Johnson was embarrassed. I would imagine changes occur here for the New York Jets, and it could start with the quarterback position. All right, let's talk about the rest of the results from yesterday, and we'll start. We'll keep going with the trench report ones, the ones that were successful. Patriots dominate the Saints 25-19. Drake May is legit. That's just every single week I'm coming away with that impression. This kid is a talented quarterback, and he's got a coach that now believes in him in Vrabel. They got a good staff there in New England. He's doing it with, Kayshon Boutte, 5 catches for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. The ghost of Demario Douglas with 3 catches for 71 yards and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs had one play called back with a phantom offensive pass interference call, but it's not like he's got these elite weapons that he's working with here, yet the kid continues to make plays, and now the Patriots are 4-2, and they're 3-0 on the road, and next week have the revenge game for their head coach with Mike Vrabel going back into Tennessee to take on the Titans.
Tale of two offenses. The Patriots are way underrated. The Titans, everyone knows they're the worst in the league, but they might be overrated because they might be the worst of all time. That'll be a fun one. And I think what you're talking about is exactly why the trench report has value, because some of my numbers, like offensive EPA minus turnovers, Patriots are way better than people think, but it's not the fantasy owners that are telling us this. It's not like they have a great running back that stood out, even though Henderson was supposed to be great. Diggs had one big game. But on a per-play basis, the fact that 0 sacks allowed in this game, the fact that you can, or 1 sack for 1 yard, the fact that you have a second-year quarterback that's that comfortable, that's what's showing up on the scoreboard and getting us a cover here.
Yeah, so Patriots win, Patriots cover, and they move, as I mentioned, to 4-2. The Rams were another play on the trench report, and they beat up on the hapless Ravens 17-3, and a move that I expected to occur finally occurred here. The Ravens did elevate Snoop Huntley from the practice squad prior to the game, and he wound up taking over for Cooper Rush in the second half there. Snoop Huntley, I would expect to be the starter, although actually no, because Harbaugh did say that after the bye week, Lamar Jackson will be back. So Lamar should be back on the 26th against the Bears, but the Ravens fall to 1-5 after the Rams handle their business against this team that just is a shell of themselves. Defensively, they're a shell of themselves. Hey, Derrick Henry actually had a good game, 122 rushing yards. Welcome back, Derrick Henry. But, Snoop Huntley was sacked 4 times. Matthew Stafford took 2 sacks, but this was a Rams team that really, despite the 3-3 score at the half, was never in jeopardy of losing this football game.
No, they kept it close to the vest, and they were never in jeopardy. I agree with that. 13 points for the Ravens in 2 games without Lamar Jackson. This is probably a year where Josh Allen adds another one. He's the current favorite at plus 185. Patrick Mahomes not too far behind at plus 225, and Baker Mayfield not far behind at plus 425. But the most valuable player in the sport is Lamar Jackson. 35 points per game with, 6 points per game without. That's a 30-point gap. It's really all just because they built this offense around the talents of one man.
Well, is it Lamar Jackson or is it Joe Burrow? Because the Bengals lose again, and this was another trench report game. Packers win 27-18. They win. They do not cover because the Bengals got the cover play. Now, this one, as much as I said, oh, man, I really didn't want to lay, 14 points, the Packers were winning by 14 points up until, the 4-minute mark of the game when on a 4th and 5 from the Green Bay 19-yard line, if that pass is incomplete, we will at least get a push here on the 14-point spread. But nope, Joe Flacco completes a touchdown pass to Jamar Chase. They get the 2-point conversion, and Packers did add a field goal after that, but it winds up being a 27-18 finish for the Packers over the Bengals. Joe Flacco in the first half, I thought, did not belong on the field. The Bengals offense.
He hadn't learned the playbook yet. At halftime, he
learned a little bit at
rummaging
halftime.
through it.
This is one that really burned me, okay? Because one of my best bets that I played yesterday was Chase Brown over 3.5 receptions. In every one of Joe Flacco's starts with the Cleveland Browns, he was averaging almost 9 targets per game to the running backs. And in the first half of this game, my handicap was, hey, Packers pass rush is going to get after Joe Flacco. The Bengals offensive line stinks. Flacco being a savvy veteran, he's not going to hold on to the ball, right? As much as we think, hey, he's immobile, right? He's a veteran. He doesn't take a lot of sacks. What he does is just get the ball out, throw the ball away. He'll throw a lot of incompletions, right? But also I thought he'll just dump it off to the running backs, right? Like, okay, he's pressured. Chase Brown turns around and is like, hey, me. And Flacco just dumps it off. In the first half, 0 targets for Chase Brown, the running back. And then in the second half, Chase Brown winds up getting 2 catches. Samaje Perine, the other running back, wound up getting 2 catches. So they did get the running backs involved in the second half as the offense looked a little bit better in the second half. Too little too late, though, for my best bet. But Packers pick up a win. They are now 3-1 on the season, Mackenzie.
83 QBR for Jordan Love. Really, the whole game, the whole cover was that pick on the first drive where it's like he's throwing that out of bounds. Jordan Love deflects off 2 people. The Bengals get it. And, add a field goal instead of the Bengals getting the ball there. You probably get the cover here. Pretty much as the book scripted. Total was close. Spread was close. Could have gone either way. Joe Flacco, 200 passing yards in the second half. That's what we saw with Cleveland. If you're a prop bettor, definitely something to consider. A lot of pass attempts, very little success. That's what Joe Flacco's done all year.
And yeah, it all came in the second half, as you mentioned. Meanwhile, shout out Trench Report, Packers rushed for 153 yards in this game. The Bengals rushed for 55. So shout out there. One final game on the Trench Report for this week, and that is a Monday Night Football game tonight with the Commanders being the play over the Chicago Bears. We'll get to that game coming up here in a few minutes. But 4-0 straight up, 2-2 ATS here in week number 6. Let's talk about some of the other results from yesterday, Mackenzie. The Colts, they get a come-from-behind escape victory against the Cardinals, 31-27. No Kyler Murray. Jacoby Brissett played for the Cardinals. This spread went from Colts laying 7 to Colts laying 9, 9.5. And Jacoby Brissett actually played well. He moved the ball down the field despite losing Marvin Harrison Jr. to an injury during the game. They found ways to get their playmakers the ball in space, and I thought that maybe the Colts defense kind of didn't take this Cardinals offense seriously enough yesterday.
Maybe, or maybe Lou Anarumo's group is just not that good. Like, think about what Denver did against the Jets today offensively. They went into Indianapolis and scored 28 points. The Titans scored 20 points. The Rams obviously beat them. I know the Raiders had an egg, but I'm not sure this team is very good defensively. Offensively, though, this is the first time Daniel Jones was really tested in the second half. Came back and win. He rises up the ranks to now the number 1 QBR guy in the league. And Jonathan Taylor has to be the best back in the league. Another huge game out of him. Jacoby Brissett, by the way, if you would have asked anybody, any handicapper 3 weeks ago, who's the better backup, Cooper Rush or Jacoby Brissett, I think it would have been pretty split. Shows what we know. Jacoby Brissett, legit quarterback, 5th franchise, seems to be all right in all of them. Cooper Rush, obviously benched for the Pro Bowler, nonetheless, New Huntley.
Well, I'll be honest. I did not think that Jacoby Brissett was going to play well in this game, and maybe I, should have corrected myself because I kind of almost talked out of both sides of my mouth when I was previewing this game on VSiN on Saturday night, because I mentioned how Jacoby Brissett has always been regarded as one of the top backups in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
And he's a guy that is always going to do the same thing. For one game or maybe 2, he's going to shine for you. But then he is not going to get the job done and he's going to fail. And that was the one side of my mouth that I should have listened to. But the other side of that I was kind of, anti Jacoby Brissett is I was saying how everybody remembers the Jacoby Brissett that had done some wonderful things in the past, but that's several years ago. Like, this is now a 32-year-old quarterback that has been in the league for several years. So, like, yeah, he had some moments when he was with the Colts, and you're like, hey, this guy could be a starter in this league, right? He played like 15 games a couple of years ago, right? That was many, many years ago when he was with the Colts, right? But after the Patriots. And then I guess he had 1 year with the Cleveland Browns where you're like, okay, maybe Jacoby Brissett's a starter again. But it's been a long time. He's not the same guy.
Last year with New England, he wasn't like great. Obviously, they made the right choice going to Drake May when they did. But he was all right. 42 QBR. Like, he's never been bad the way Cooper Rush has been bad right now.
Yeah.
To be fair, Cooper Rush had never been bad until we saw it happen.
Yep.
But the fact that you can go to any franchise and do it, give him the #1 gold star for being the worst or the best guy that should never start a game for the rest of his life.
Yeah, like it's amazing. Like there should be like an award. We should give it like the Jacoby Brissett Award, and it goes to the best backup quarterback that you never want to play 3 games.
Right.
Like,
cannot start
only 2 games.
Sign someone off the street.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only 2 games you get. After 2 games, that's it. He is done.
If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans, help is here. More and more Americans turn to credit cards to get by. National Debt Relief is helping qualified clients reduce what they owe. For many, continuing to struggle making minimum monthly payments could take years to pay off. National Debt Relief has already helped over 550,000 Americans reduce their debt by negotiating directly with their creditors. When you call, you'll be amazed at how much you can save and how quickly you can become debt-free. If you want off the debt treadmill, visit nationaldebtrelief.com today. You don't need to declare bankruptcy, and you may qualify for significant debt relief. To find out what savings you may qualify for, simply visit nationaldebtrelief.com. That's nationaldebtrelief.com.
You said that Jonathan Taylor might be the best back in the NFL. I will counter, Mackenzie, with Rico freaking Dowdle. Rico Dowdle.
Angry Rico.
Spider Rico. For the second week in a row, over 200 scrimmage yards. This is one where the Trench Report identified that the Panthers were a rushing mismatch over the Cowboys, but it also identified as the Cowboys a rushing mismatch over the Panthers. And
did not work over for my Javonte Williams bet.
It did not work out for the Javonte Williams bet, but it did work for the Rico Dowdle bet. And up on BetterDay.com, we did give out Rico Dowdle anytime touchdown because this is something that I always tell people. And we have this conversation all the time about prop bets, right? It's one thing to say, to base your handicap off of, hey, this guy went over 4 out of the last 5 games, or this guy went under 4 out of the last 5 games. It's another thing to follow the story, okay? And all week, Rico Dowdle has been talking about getting revenge on the Dallas Cowboys. Felt that he had unfinished business in Dallas, and after 5 seasons, they cut him and didn't give him a chance to be the lead back once again. And then his teammates on the Panthers talked all week about wanting to get this game for Rico, how special it was going to be for Rico. And I thought, listen, at minus 130 for an anytime touchdown bet for Rico Dowdle, they were absolutely going to do whatever they had to do to get this guy into the end zone. If his offensive lineman had to pick him up and carry him into the end zone, they were going to do that in this game yesterday because that's how much his teammates wanted him to score against the Dallas Cowboys. He wound up getting a receiving touchdown in this game, but man, 30 carries for 183 yards. What an unbelievable 2-game stretch here for Rico Dowdle.
We talk about, like you mentioned, this type of prop bet all the time. I'm starting to lean towards, my general handicap has been, well, it's not like these guys know exactly what plays they're going to run. They're going to do whatever's best for the team. But the way they talked about it after the game, the way he talked about it before the game, the way the results came out, it's hard to think it wasn't a factor. Maybe it's something where coaches are like, if I can go with this guy or this guy, it's about 50-50, but the team is going to get behind this plan that much more. And it seemed like the rest of the team rallied around, we're gonna beat the Cowboys with our guy right here.
Cowboys defense, another game where they just cannot stop anybody. Their best defensive performance, believe it or not, was that week 1 game against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
But
what does that say about the Eagles? Yeah.
Exactly. But, 37 points against the Giants in that shootout. They made Russell Wilson look like an all-pro. They gave up 31 points to Caleb Williams and the Bears. The 40-point game against the Packers that ended in a tie. They beat the Jets, even though they allowed the Jets to get some garbage time stuff there. And then Bryce Young looked really good yesterday against this Cowboys defense. I mean, this is a big-time problem for the Dallas Cowboys.
The number one upgraded team, if you're looking at the look-ahead line, is the Panthers. So we can downgrade the Cowboys defense, which is already pretty down. But maybe this Panthers team isn't the worst loss in the world. I mean, they really haven't had a bad game all year. Their losses to Jacksonville doesn't look nearly as bad. Their loss to New England at New England doesn't look nearly as bad.
The Chargers get a last-second field goal from Dicker the kicker to defeat the Dolphins 29-27 in a game that Miami absolutely let slip away. So the Dolphins come from behind. They're down 26-20. Well, first off, they're down 26-13. They score the touchdown, and then they're down 26-20. The defense plays great, gets the football back. Tua marches right down the field. They score a touchdown, and they take the 27-26 lead. But then their defense cannot make a tackle. And the big play was the Ladd McConkey 42-yard catch and run that put the Chargers into field goal position. The Chargers got the kickoff with, 40 seconds left in the game? 40-somewhat seconds left in the game, and got themselves into, very comfortable field goal range. There was a moment where, I had the Dolphins plus 3.5, and I thought, man, are they going to let them score at the end? Because that's how, it was like a foregone conclusion that this was going to be a chip shot. And then, I was holding my breath when Tua threw that interception. I thought that that Derwin James was going to actually return it for a touchdown, but he ran out of bounds. Anyway.
But, it does go to show you that you think if only the Jets can get a field goal, this game's over. Well, it's the exact situation that the Chargers were in if the Broncos would have been in, if the Jets would have made that field goal. 46 seconds.
Yeah.
Seems like there's no chance, but the modern NFL, that's like a 50-50 scenario, it seems like.
What do you think about Mike McDaniel's job status, Mackenzie?
It was already looking pretty perigoso, to use a Spanish word.
No comprende.
Dangerous, precarious.
Okay.
For my guy, for my fellow Broncos ball boy alumni, for my fellow Yale alumni, for my fellow mulatto brother from another mother, I am worried for my man.
You guys have so much in common. Like, did you hang out with each other?
He's the millionaire, billionaire version of me with a really awesome looking wife, I gotta say.
Did you ever you never crossed paths because you were with the Broncos way before he was.
Way after, actually.
Oh, after? Okay.
A couple years after, not even way after. I'd never had a conversation with Mike McDaniel, but one time, I don't go here often, but I was here in the in the 49ers booth with the coaches. His wife came up to me and said, "Hey, you went to Yale too, right?" What an amazing lady. I've never felt more loved or cared for than Mike McDaniel's wife coming up to me and talking shop.
That's fantastic. And now he'll be out of a job, so maybe he'll
Hey, maybe back to San Francisco. Saleh, McDaniel, we're going back to 2019 all over again.
Do you know something? It's not a bad thought. Because
I like it.
This kind of feels like a reset year for the 49ers with all the injuries that they're dealing with. And Saleh's done a great job, and the players love him. But now you lose Fred Warner for the season with the ankle. It just feels like this might be a reset year for the 49ers. If they reload and McDaniel's back as the offensive coordinator next year, why not? Why not the 49ers next year? Let's talk about that 49ers game, Mackenzie. They lose to the Tampa Bay Bucks 30-19. Mac Jones did everything he could, but it wasn't enough. The turnovers really did him in. He winds up throwing for 347 yards. So on the surface, it looks like, okay, cool. 2 interceptions, not good. Christian McCaffrey, not involved enough. Kendrick Bourne, another massive game, filling in for all the injuries. But it's the injuries. There's no other way around it. You can't it's sooner or later, losing all of these star players, it's going to hurt you. And the 49ers have been banged up. We haven't seen Ayuk yet. Jennings is still out. Ricky Pearsall was out. Obviously, Brock Purdy, their starting freaking quarterback, is not playing. And then all the injuries on defense. Bosa done. This guy done. This guy done. Now you lose Fred Warner, the heart and soul of your defense. I don't know how the 49ers respond after this.
Yeah. Another 49ers faithful said it best when it was like losing Nick Bosa is like losing a leg. Losing Fred Warner is like getting your heart ripped out. It really seemed like, wow, I can't believe this season has gone so well and it's officially over. Like officially. Like the way the Ravens might have felt if Lamar Jackson's done for the year, Joe Burrow's done for the year. It's that big a deal with a defensive player. The line moved about 1.5 points for next week's game against Atlanta. I think that's almost all due to Fred Warner, and I think it's warranted.
Yep.
They go punt, short field touchdown for the Bucs. This is the 49ers defense. Punt. So 4 possessions, 1 short field, 3 punts forced. Then Fred Warner goes out, touchdown, 70-yard drives each time. It didn't even seem that easy. And Tony Romo said it on the broadcast. It just seems like it's not complicated what they're doing now. They really had a little bit of magic that they just don't have now. Mac Jones, I don't want to hurt him too much. One of the picks wasn't on him.
Mm-hmm.
Guy took the wrong route. But that's kind of what happens when you're on your third receiver as your number 1 receiver. It's just, it ended up being too much for the camel, and it broke its back.
Yep, that is very well said. Steelers beat the Browns 23-9. Cleveland in one of the worst situations that you'll ever see. It has never happened in NFL history where a team returned from an international game without a bye, had to go on the road to face a team coming off of a bye. And that's what we had here with the Browns going to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. And Pittsburgh dominated the entire game. 23-9 was the final score. Aaron Rodgers looked good, got the ball out of his hands quickly. DK Metcalf is a mismatch for everybody. There was a couple of throws. That one throw down the sideline was like vintage Aaron Rodgers. DK Metcalf, one-on-one coverage. It's like a third down, and he sprints down the sideline, and like falling down, he makes the catch where the football was thrown like underneath the defender's arms. And you're just watching it and you're like, I mean, for me as a Jets fan, I'm watching it like, holy shit. Yeah, this is like who I thought we were going to get, like this. Like,
is there any quarterback that didn't have their worst season of their career with the Jets? Geno Smith, yes. Sam Darnold, yes.
Listen,
Aaron Rodgers, yes.
Favre was 8-3 before he got hurt. And then
he had a decent year.
And then refused to sit games because, Favre.
And that reporter was so rude to him, wouldn't even reply to his texts. Like, I'd get out of there too.
So, I mean, that season, that could have been a very special season for the Jets if Favre just decided to sit games and, but hey, some you have a streak, right? You're not going to sit games. Anyway, yeah, Steelers look good. Dylan Gabriel, his numbers on the surface are whatever, 29 of 52 passing, 221 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked 6 times. Obviously, the line doesn't help him out at all, and the receivers don't help him out at all. There were several drops. If you were watching that game closely, if you go back and you watch that game on film, it's not you're not going to come away with it saying, "Oh man, Dylan Gabriel can't play quarterback." You're just going to look at it saying the Cleveland Browns are just not a good football team right now.
And you have to wonder if it's more about development for them. 52 pass attempts. Yeah. They're just saying well, you're going to have to get used to this Pittsburgh thing if you're going to make it here in Cleveland.
That's a great point. I feel like that's more, they're not trying to, obviously you want to win games, but their goal is development. And so you're right. For Dylan Gabriel, it's sometimes you think at the end of the game, it's why don't they just run it out and just end the game? It's no, you're going to put this quarterback in situations where he's going to learn. And so you're going to call plays to hey, you want to learn from your mistakes, right? It's kind of like you're treating it like an extended practice. I remember there was a quote. Oh boy, who was it? Was it Darnold or Zach Wilson? It was one of the former Jets quarterbacks, recent Jets quarterbacks. And something, it might have been Darnold. And he was asked. Everyone was reporting during training camp and practice where he threw some really bad interceptions. Okay. And they asked, hey, what's going on with all these interceptions, in training camp and practice? What are you doing? And the answer, and I apologize, I think it was Sam Darnold. And he was saying, well, this is where I want to throw these interceptions. I'm learning. I'm trying to figure out what throws I can and cannot make. And so this is the process. I'm learning, okay, when they're in this coverage, I can't throw the ball over the middle. Or when they're in this coverage, I can't throw the out pattern because they're going to jump it for the interception. I'm learning. And I feel like that's what a guy like Dylan Gabriel has to go through right now is take these live reps for the Cleveland Browns and use it as a learning experience to figure out how to play the quarterback position at the NFL level.
Yeah, he couldn't have had two harder defensive minds to go after in Brian Flores and the Steelers and Tomlin. So maybe there'll be some value for Dylan Gabriel going forward, because I think all things considered, he didn't really look badly in the two games combined.
And
it's going to be a lot easier versus Miami next week at home.
Yeah, and can I just vent about something real quick? One final thing on the Cleveland Browns. The fact that media outlets actually put tweets out last week that were saying Shedeur Sanders has officially been elevated to QB2.
Right? I've never heard of that.
It's like no shit. The starter got traded, so number 2 becomes number 1, number 3 becomes number 2. This is not a breaking news story. You know,
I guess there was. I mean, somebody asked Stefanski, and he didn't say right away who the backup quarterback is. We're going to look at everything. But yeah, it's a media-generated story. There are no QB2 stories.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Oh God, yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the Seahawks speaking of Sam Darnold, Seahawks beat the Jaguars 20-12. Darnold 295 yards and 2 touchdowns. Seahawks are legit, Mackenzie, and this could come down with the 49ers dealing with the injuries. You know, it's going to be the Rams and the Seahawks battling it out for this NFC West division.
And the Rams have, the much tougher schedule, being the division defending champs. Let's go to the old division odds. Wow. I got to say, I think the Seahawks have a better chance to win the division than the Niners, but that's not what the market is telling me. Niners, plus 145 still. Co-favorites with the Rams at plus 145. Seahawks, 3-1. Man, it seems like some value on the Seahawks to me.
Yeah, I would say so. Their defense is good, and Darnold just plays. He's gotten so much better. He's gotten so much better. And the one thing that I don't think was talked about enough with Sam Darnold and the Seahawks is that Darnold worked with Kubiak when they were together with the 49ers. And so it's like everyone's talking about, oh, Darnold learned from Kevin O'Connell last year, as the quarterback of the Vikings, where he had a great season. I'll make the argument that Darnold learned, from Shanahan with the 49ers, and he learned with Clint Kubiak in that 49ers offense. And now Kubiak becomes the OC and the play caller here for Seattle, and he has a quarterback that knows his offense, that knows his system, and they're comfortable working together. And I think that's the most underreported aspect of how good Sam Darnold is playing this year for the Seahawks is his relationship with Kubiak.
I would also argue an underreported story is how well Kubiak did last year with Carr. Like, before Derek Carr got hurt, the Saints offense was not the problem in New Orleans. I think he's one of the underrated coordinators in general. That's
a fair point. Yep, you're right. So Seahawks get the 20-12 win over the Jaguars. Raiders beat the Titans 20-10. Cam Ward, another tough learning experience. Geno, another tough game. This was like, in the first half, it's like, all right, the Raiders are up 10-0. And, you're like, their defense.
Game over.
Yeah, their defense is doing great. Like, the Tennessee Titans aren't going to do anything. And everything that was happening in the game was kind of overshadowing the fact that, like, Geno Smith only had, like, 70 yards of offense in the first half. And you're like, this guy, what is he doing? Like, he had another turnover. He winds up finishing with 174 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. The touchdown pass was to Michael Mayer, the other tight end there. Ashton Genty rushed in a touchdown as he continues to develop his game. And this was one where, it in hindsight, I'm like, how did I not bet the Raiders? Like, it just felt obvious after the Titans had that Fugazi win last week. But Tennessee's just, this might go down as one of the worst organizational decisions that we have seen in quite some time. To part ways with Vrabel.
Oh, okay. Going all the way back to that decision.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I agree.
To draft Cam Ward is a wrong decision also. But to part ways with Vrabel and hire Brian Callahan, maybe one of the worst organizational decisions that we have seen in a long time in the NFL.
It goes back to draft night, and a lot of people make a big deal about the draft. Some people say it's overrated. I said that for years. But it really was a turning point in two franchises' history from that point going forward. Eagles acquire A.J. Brown. legit guy that Vrabel said I would not ever want to part with. One of the best receivers. He wins the Super Bowl he appears into. Titans get some receiver, I don't remember his name, in the first round. Never heard of him. And they decided in general, we're going to side with the GM. We're going to build this long term. We're not going to care about Vrabel and wanting to win now and all this stuff that, is annoying to us. We're just going to be, on this side of the ledger. Wrong across the board. You alienated Vrabel. He eventually leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Your GM, I think you're on your third GM since that decision. And obviously the Eagles got the better end of that trade. That was the pivot point. Worst coaching tenure in history, 4-20 ATS. Probably doesn't even tell you how bad as an organization they're doing right now.
And that was Treylon Burks was the wide receiver they drafted in the first round.
The Treylon Burks.
Exactly. Yeah. What you are going to see happening is, and this happens all the time, organizations, they have certain milestones that they need to, that coincide with change in the organization. Sometimes it occurs with, new coaches, new uniform, new whatever. Like there's certain things. The new stadium opens next year. Okay. The Tennessee Titans will move into their brand new stadium next season. I think it's next season. It's either next season. It's got to be next season. 2027 maybe. Anyway, they're going to move into their new stadium with a new coach. That's the bottom line. It's going to be, or they get the new coach next year. Everybody gets excited, and then they can sell all the PSLs for the brand new stadium. Like, think about it. It's a business, right? It is a
Belichick?
business.
Maybe a splashy name like the Raiders did with Gruden right before they came to Vegas.
I mean,
maybe
listen,
not
you're not obviously you're not moving cities, but like you are trying to sell PSLs, right, in your brand new stadium.
Yeah.
So I think they need something to sell the fan base to fill up and pay for that enormous stadium that they are finishing there in Nashville. Okay. We talked about every game so far here from the results from yesterday. So without further ado, let's get to our Monday night preview.
Confronting high credit card debt can feel scary. But the good news is, if you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, financial relief options are now available. National Debt Relief is currently offering debt relief designed to reduce what you owe, fast-tracking your way to being debt-free. If you qualify for debt relief, you may be able to pay back significantly less than what you owe and save thousands of dollars. Imagine only paying one low monthly program payment you can afford and saving money as you become debt-free. National Debt Relief has already helped bring debt relief to over 550,000 U.S. consumers, earning thousands of five-star reviews and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. You're stronger than your credit card debt. Take the first step and visit nationaldebtrelief.com to see what debt relief you qualify for. That's nationaldebtrelief.com.
Because it is a Monday Night Football doubleheader, Mackenzie, you know what we like to do. We like to build a same-game parlay, but because it's a Monday Night Football doubleheader, let's build a multiple-leg same-game parlay, like a multi-game same-game parlay. It's always fun. And so we're going to do this courtesy of our friends over at the FanDuel Sportsbook, and we're going to take a look at the Bills at the Falcons and the Bears at the Commanders. Now, we've seen some money coming in on the Atlanta Falcons. The spread is now down to Bills minus 3.5 because of the Bills injury report. So there's a lot of missing players on the Bills injury report.
Josh Allen going to be there?
Josh Allen will be there. Matt Milano, their linebacker, will not be there.
Okay.
So that is a big loss for them. So they lose Matt Milano for this game. DeMar Hamlin's on IR. Not like he has a big impact on the games anyway. But Milano is probably
just on our hearts.
Exactly. Milano is the biggest loss here for them in this game. He's their middle linebacker. He's their guy. So no Milano. TJ Sanders also out as well. So they do have injuries on the defensive side of the football. That being said, you have a home dog. It's an attractive home dog here. How do we think this game plays out between the Bills and the Falcons? The first place that I always turn to, Mackenzie, is the Trench Report, which did identify the Buffalo Bills over the Falcons as a rushing mismatch. And so I would like to play some sort of James Cook rushing prop. What do you think about that?
I don't mind James Cook at all. I think the Bills are going to dominate this matchup, so that means more rushing yards, more rushing opportunities. No Matt Milano, but Terrell Bernard is now their new green dot play caller. So Matt Milano kind of demoted in that sense, maybe less important than in past years. I like a lot of the Bills of this matchup. I also like Josh Allen, his rushing prop in a big primetime game off a loss. I feel like he might get over 34.5. So that's another place I was looking at.
Okay. So would you rather go James Cook over 16.5 rushing attempts or James Cook over 70.5 rushing yards?
I would go attempts. I think like I said, I think they're going to be up 7-14 late in the game. So that means more rushing yards.
Okay.
More rushing attempts.
Okay, so leg number 1, James Cook over 16.5 rushing attempts for the Bills. If we just look at a couple of game logs here, he had 15 last week against the Patriots in a loss, 22 against New Orleans in a win, 19 against Miami in a win, 21 against the Jets in a win, 13 in that back and forth affair in week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. That game was more
where they're down 15 points in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. So if we look at the game script and we think that they are going to win, like they won 30-10 against the Jets, 31-21 against the Dolphins, and 31-19 against the Saints, we are looking at overs for James Cook. All right. So 16.5, we go over on leg number 1. Now, with no Darnell Mooney playing for the Atlanta Falcons, I think there will be receptions to be had for other players. So I am thinking of Kyle Pitts, the tight end, to go over 3.5 receptions for the Atlanta Falcons. What do you think of that, Mackenzie?
Kyle Pitts had a little bit of a resurgent year.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of fits our game script that if the Falcons are down, they're going to be throwing more in the second half. I think I remember hearing something. I wish I would have had the next gen stat, but I think the Bills are vulnerable against the tight end. I remember betting a George Kittle prop over back in the day. But I don't have that in front of me, so I'm just speculating here.
I can look at it real quick to see if there's anything up here. But also, what's worth noting is that Pitts has gone over this 3.5 in every single game that he has played this season. And
quietly been his bounce back year.
Yes. And I do think that without Darnell Mooney in the game, obviously a lot of attention by the Bills defense, the banged up Bills defense, is going to be on Drake London. And for certain, Bijan Robinson, and the guy that might be left out in the middle, open, is going to be Kyle Pitts. Now, also, we talked about this before, but who is not playing for the Buffalo Bills? Their middle linebacker, Matt Milano. What are linebackers responsible for in pass coverage? Covering tight ends. So let's go with Kyle Pitts over 3.5 receptions as leg number 2. So our two-leg,
I like it.
Our two-leg same-game parlay for the first Monday Night Football game, which is the Bills at the Falcons. We have, oh no, they don't let you parlay the rushing attempts.
All right, well, rushing yards is a very close proxy. We're going to be all right.
It makes me so upset. Like,
I know.
It's like, it's a good angle. It's a good read. I want to do it, but they don't let you parlay.
How many yachts do they have to ski behind?
I know.
Why can't we just bet the way we want to bet?
I know. They don't let you do the rushing attempts on the same game parlay. They let you do the rushing yards on the same game parlay. So let's see. We have alternate rushing yards. Let's go James Cook, 70 plus.
Isn't that just like his prop?
What was it? Yeah. His prop was like 74, right? Or something like that?
Okay, yeah. So we could grab a couple yards. I like that in a parlay. You want a little extra?
Oh, his prop is 70.5. So, yeah, it's the same thing. So,
good.
Okay. So, we are at plus 204 right now on these first two legs of Kyle Pitts over 3.5 receptions and James Cook 70 plus yards. Now let's go to game number 2.
Do you want to just throw the Bills on there? I mean, I feel like they're both kind of Bills related. Bills money line, or
if we throw Bills money line in there, it makes it plus 291.
So it barely changes it. Got it. All right.
If we do Bills minus 3.5, it makes it plus 374.
Not gonna lie, I kind of like that, but we can come back to that.
Okay, we can come back to it. Game number 2, the Chicago Bears at the Washington Commanders. I think we need to start with Bill. That's right. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is the guy that we need to start with because the Trench Report has identified that this is a mismatch. We know how big of we know that the Bears have not done a good job at stopping the run at all. So let's go with our guy Bill to get 70 yards, just like our guy James Cook. Okay, 70+ yards for Ja'Cory Krosky.
So his prop
Merritt.
is at 67.5. So we're getting a little plus money on this over 70.
No, his prop his prop is 69.5. So so we're pretty much exactly there, right? It's the same thing. So 69.5 is what we're looking at right now. Now, we need a second leg for this game. What do you think is most likely to happen in this game between the Commanders and the Bears? I think the Commanders win, and I think the Commanders put up some points, Mackenzie.
I do like the over. I think the Bears' offense might be a little underrated. You look at Caleb Williams' numbers, they're actually not terrible compared to last year. And I think the Bears' defense is way overrated. So anything involved with an over here, I generally like.
Okay. Do we want to go over 49.5 for the full game?
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right. So if we make that now our second leg of this same game parlay, we have Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 70+ rushing yards, and the game to go over 49.5 points. That is plus 211. The combined Monday Night Football doubleheader, 4 legs, is plus 848. If we now let's add Bills minus 3.5 and Commanders minus 5.5. Let's load up on both favorites on the spread.
It's got to be good.
Plus 2219.
Whew, I feel like that happens. Man, honestly.
I mean, I feel like it happens more times than it doesn't happen.
It's 22-1. Yeah. It feels like it happens more times than it doesn't happen. That's what it feels like. I guess I would say safety if I was going to pick one where I was a little more cautious, Commanders, they might win by a field goal. They might win by 4 points.
Okay, if we
maybe just money line on that one.
If we do both teams on the money line with the other 4 legs, it's plus 1389.
It happens more often than not. I mean, you can't afford not to bet it at this point.
Yeah, but just the standard 4-leg parlay is plus 848. That is James Cook, 70+ rushing yards. Kyle Pitts over 3.5 receptions. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 70+ rushing yards. And the game between the Bears and the Commanders to go over 49.5 points. That's plus 848, our standard same game parlay there for the Monday Night Football doubleheader, courtesy of our friends over at the FanDuel Sportsbook. All right, Mac, before we wrap things up for this episode, Major League Baseball. The Blue Jays let one slip away last night. Mariners win 3-1 over Toronto. They steal Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. George Springer hits a solo home run on the first pitch of the game, and the Blue Jays are up 1-0. After that moment...
They're on pace for infinity runs at that point.
Infinity. After that moment, Mackenzie, the Blue Jays got one other hit. So, the first pitch of the game was a solo home run. They got one hit the rest of the game. Meanwhile, Kevin Gausman was shutting down the Mariners. It's the top of the 6th inning. There's 2 outs and nobody on, and it is a 2-2 count to the big dumper Cal Raleigh, and Gausman throws a splitter that just catches way too much of the zone. The 3rd consecutive splitter. Now, if I'm calling the pitches, I don't throw him 3 straight splitters, right? Because it was...
and you're a catcher. You knew this stuff.
It's, to me, he probably timed it. First pitch of the at-bat was a splitter that he took for a ball. Second pitch was a fastball. He took for a ball. Borderline. Could have been a strike. Third pitch was a splitter. He took for a strike. 4th pitch was another splitter that he fouled off. The 5th pitch, dude, you can't come back with another splitter. And you know what?
Right.
Raleigh smashed it 420 feet for a home run. He's too good of a player for you to throw 3 straight splitters there. He timed it. He was all over it. Didn't fool him 1 second. He mashed it. It is a 1-1 game. He then, Gausman then walks Julio Rodriguez on 5 consecutive pitches. The Jays go to the bullpen, and Brendan Little comes in. He throws a wild pitch, allows the runner to advance to second, and then gives up a single, which scores another run. So now it's 2-1 Mariners. They added an insurance run in the top of the ninth inning, or top of the eighth inning. They added an insurance run. But once it was 2-1 and the Jays just weren't getting anything done offensively, this game was just done. Incredible job by Bryce Miller. Again, gave up that first pitch, a solo home run to George Springer, and then shut down the Jays the rest of the game. 6 innings, 2 hits, only 1 run, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts on 76 pitches. And now the odds in the ALCS up on FanDuel, the Mariners minus 225, the Blue Jays plus 186 on the return. And for game number 2 of this series, which will be tonight, it is Logan Gilbert on the mound for the Mariners and Trey Savage on the mound for the Blue Jays. Toronto minus 124, total of 7.5. It is game number 1 tonight of the National League Championship Series, the Dodgers and the Brewers. The Dodgers are minus 205 favorite in the series. The Brewers, you can get plus 172 on the return. Blake Snell will start for the Dodgers tonight in game number 1, and the Brewers haven't announced a pitcher yet. They're going to go with an opener, though. So it will be a reliever that's going to get the start, and then we'll figure out who's going to get the bulk of the innings. Maybe it's Quinn Priester or whoever, but it'll be an opener that'll start the game here for the Milwaukee Brewers. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, Mac, it just feels like the Dodgers are inevitable right now.
Inevitable is the word.
Yep.
They have too much experience in these spots, and I know it didn't work for fading the Mariners, but I feel like fading the Brewers still makes sense here. After a do-or-die game that went to the wire, all that adrenaline, I feel like the Dodgers are cruising in here in game 1.
Now, is there – I wonder can you – I guess you can do this. I'll have to take a look at the database and see if I could plug in a specific round of the playoffs. Now, it's interesting because we've now had new rounds in the playoffs.
Right.
So it's kind of like round 3, I guess, which is this now, has only been around for a couple of years, right? So it's interesting. But I'm curious to see like how the teams have done, because it has been a notable trend, and I apologize for not having the exact numbers, but when you come off the do-or-die elimination game, right, those games those teams that win the do-or-die elimination games and then have to play game 1 of their next series, they never do well in game 1 of the next series. It's
the same trend that works in the NBA playoffs. It just makes a lot of sense. Rest versus rust is kind of a non-starter. I rather have the team that's more relaxed. Everyone has the same goal. It's not like motivation's a factor.
Yeah.
Than a team that just had the biggest game of their season.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. It's a great point. Now that we're done with baseball, I just want to real quick mention some hockey stuff. We got another full schedule of hockey games coming up here tonight. Yesterday, I thought I got cute. There was one hockey game yesterday, Mackenzie, and it was the Rangers against the Capitals. Now, the story with the Capitals this year is kind of like what it was last year. It's all about Ovechkin and the chase now for 900 career goals. Right? He's at 8.
Is that what?
Yeah.
That's the chase?
Yeah.
He just beat Gretzky.
Well,
he's got to keep going.
Now he's got to go for the milestone, right? So he's at 8. Right. So he's at 897, right?
No one's ever done it before.
When will he get to 900? And so last night
he's at 897.
897, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. And so last night I said, you know something? I'm going to, the Rangers, second out of a back-to-back. It's going to be Jonathan Quick in net, backup goaltender. It's not going to be Igor Shesterkin. I'm like, let me sprinkle a little bit on the Capitals, minus a goal and a half. And it's a fat plus money price. You get like plus 200 on that last night. I'm like, let me sprinkle on that. And then also let me do Ovechkin over 3.5 shots on goal. I'm like, that's probably a good play, especially if they get on the power play, you're going to have an opportunity and Ovi's going to get the shots. Well, third period, Ovechkin has 3 shots on goal. The Capitals are up 1-0. There's 2 minutes left. Empty net. And I'm thinking this is exactly the scenario that I want to happen. Because just like last year, when Ovi was chasing Gretzky, his teammates would force feed him with the empty net, and get him the shot. And I said, this is going to happen here. I'm going to cash both of these. We're going to get the fourth shot on goal. That's going to be the empty netter that's going to cash the puck line as well. Well, they never really They never really got an attempt at the empty net. Rangers had possession pretty much the whole time with the extra attacker, a couple of icings down the rink, and that was all that she wrote. Capitals win 1-0 over the Rangers, and Ovi finishes with only 3 shots on goal. Bummer there. But the Rangers now do fit a system that has been very profitable going back the past couple of years. I will say it did not work out the first time this year. But I'm going to go back to the well because this is something that has dominated the past couple of years with this trend. And that is teams after getting shut out, they go over 1.5 goals in the first period of their following game. Not only do they go over the first period in their following games, but also it's a very strong play on the goal in the first 10 minutes. So you get a goal in first 10 and the over in the first period. This is a very, very strong trend that has, that has dominated over the past couple of years. It did not happen. Last year, the Rangers were 3-1 in this category, which is over 1.5 in the first period. They were also 3-1 to the goal in the first 10 after being shut out last season. Well, they got shut out earlier this year. They did win the following game 4-0 against Buffalo, but they only scored 1 goal in the first period. So it didn't go over, and the goal did not come in the first 10 minutes. But when they take on the Oilers in their next game coming up in a couple of days, that'll be a play for me. We're going to go over 1.5 goals in the first period and goal in the first 10 minutes. So file that away for you puckheads out there, okay?
I like it. People talk about, there's no such thing as do theory. There wouldn't be if this is a roulette wheel, but this is human beings, psychology. They're going to be thinking about getting off the schneid, and they're going to want to do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, get off to a fast start after not scoring any goals in their previous game. By the way, with all of these sports now going on, like at the same time, like we're almost going to have the equinox, right? Like the equinox is coming up soon. NBA, NHL, college football, the baseball World Series, and the NFL. Up on betterday.com on the picks page, it is now completely interactive. You can now sort by specific sport, and you can sort by the pick type. So you can look up all the past records because everything's documented. That's the one thing we take pride in. I never shy away from losses. 100% transparency. Every pick is there. And also so if you see sometimes, the reason why I wanted to do this for you listeners out there is because there might be a day where there's like 10 picks up on the site, right? And I don't want people to like have to scroll down and find, where was that NBA pick that Mackenzie gave out? Or where was the hockey pick that Scott was talking about? And all I see here is college football. Let me scroll down. Well, now you can just click the drop-down menu, click on the sport, and you'll get the pick for that sport. And if you want to look up prop bets, go look at the prop bets. You want to look up run lines, puck lines, you want to look up first half totals, team totals, everything is all interactive for you in one cool menu up on betterday.com. We are going to continue to update the features on the website. I really want to make it a destination for you guys. So we're going to have more articles. We have pretty much now a schedule of 2 articles every single week for football, right? The Trench Report comes out every Wednesday. The Fantasy Football article comes out on Thursday or Friday. And then obviously the daily newsletter that gets emailed to you guys every single morning. But I want to start getting some more articles up there, and especially now with the NBA season beginning very, very soon, and Mackenzie Rivers all over the NBA, we'll have some cool stuff for you guys available up on betterday.com. So make sure that you subscribe to the website, and we'll hopefully provide you guys with the best service that we absolutely can up on the website, like we try and do on these podcast episodes as well. Follow Mackenzie Rivers on Twitter at @MackinRivers. Get all of his insights there. Interact with him as well. You can hit me up on Twitter at ScottsOnAir. And here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.